Oh, Cinnamon, where you gonna run to? Cinnamon, where you gonna run to? Where you gonna run to? Oh, Lord.
Wow, a Canadian government outlawed citizens giving other fellow citizens gas, so the people of Canada walked onto the streets with gas containers. You love to see it. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Luke Rudowski here of wearechange.org, and we have a lot of absolute craziness to get into, as of course the Canadian government of Alberta just made a stunning move with some major ramifications that of course are definitely going to bewilder Mr. Trudeau Castro. All of this as things are definitely ratcheting up very seriously, especially when it comes to some of the serious reactions by the state to all of this. We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more, all in this independent media broadcast, which of course strives to be the direct opposite of what the corporate media represents, and that of course is elitism, as the Washington Post, Jeff Bezos' newspaper, is trying to protect their elitist hierarchy at any cost, to the bewilderment of anyone actually paying attention. This is perfectly represented by their latest piece, of course mainly depicting a picture of Joe Rogan with the title, Analysis, Anti-Elitism and the Internet are a Problematic Combination. Yes, because the government being corrupted by multinational corporations, billionaire banksters, and crony capitalism, implementing policies that of course give socialism to the super rich. That's not the problem here. That's not the problem here at all. The problem is people complaining about it. That's the official hot take of the Washington Post, which it brags about literally doing of the billionaire class. Again, you're a little peon peasant. You're supposed to know your role, stay in line, and don't you dare question your potential overlords like Stacey Abrams, that finally, days after this PR disaster, apologized for failing to wear a mask during a school visit where everyone, including small children, were forced to wear masks except her. She first tried to blame everything on race for some bewildering moment. Yeah, no one bought that nonsense. She's now blaming her excitement for forcing all the small children to wear masks when she didn't want to. And this happened after, of course, new photos emerged showing that she was not wearing a mask throughout her entire visit, as her employees and her team said that she just did this temporarily for this photo, when, of course, this was not true. This, once again, shows you the hubris of what people deem elitist political thinking, out of reality, out of touch thinking, that the Washington Post is trying to protect. In related sellout politician news, we have this latest revelation from Andrew Yang that came out publicly and said that Joe Rogan was not a racist in a tweet disavowing the attacks against the very popular podcaster, and then he quickly deleted it. But don't worry, peasant slave, all of your problems will go away. You won't have to worry about anything with, of course, government-provided crack pipes that the U.S. government is taking $30 million, your money, from your taxes, and using it to distribute crack pipes for safer drug use in order to, quote, advance racial equity. This is according to the Daily Mail. And even though I do believe in harm reduction and the war on drugs being an absolutely ridiculous effort, in my opinion, there nothing better represents the Biden administration than, of course, government-provided crack pipes. Snopes even created doublespeak surrounding this entire controversy, and there's a lot of offhand jokes I can make about Hunter Biden, but this is definitely not the time for it, as, of course, policies like this will only destroy the fabric of society even further than it already is being destroyed right now. And I would say things will definitely get a lot more interesting, as, of course, today on LukeUncensored.com, I specifically we'll be talking about a viral video of a comedian bragging about something and then collapsing. Yeah, lots of things I want to say. There's also 2 new medical studies that just came out that I want to talk about, but these are sensitive topics, so that video will only be available on LukeUncensored.com. I hope to see you there later on today on our own safe space, secret society, quasi-somewhat of platform, where, of course, we will be continuing the conversation from here. Hope to see you there. Click the link down in the description below to find out more. Now, the honkening, or the hunk apocalypse, as some people have been calling it, has had a tremendous effect, not just on the, of course, local politics of Canada, but also, of course, on the world stage, inspiring movements from all around the world that are taking part in similar efforts, calling for life to go back to normal, calling for governments to get out of your business and to allow human beings to live their lives unabated, uncontrolled. This is, of course, the Trucker Freedom Convoy, which it looks like just had a major victory in Alberta, where the Canadian Premier there, Jason Kennedy, has just announced that he is ending their domestic passport system and medical mandates because, quote, these restrictions have led to terrible division, and this heightened state of emergency cannot remain forever. This as Alberta plans to get rid of more restrictions, more lockdowns, and decrees of governments controlling human beings. This is a huge victory for the Canadian people that are joining many places around the world that are implementing similar measures after, of course, the official numbers have been going down dramatically with the data changing, as we said it would, and many people realizing that this was nonsensical, crazy, and insane in the first place to try to control citizens, as some governments have tried in the excuse of trying to take care of their health, which in reality, I would argue the opposite of which was done, but with a major Canadian province now just flipping the script, going against the World Economic Forum, Build Back Better, Great Reset agenda. Where does the rest of the Canadian government stand? Well, according to the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau Castro, he has reemerged from his hiding place and has announced that these protesters are, quote, blockading the economy, democracy, and, quote, our fellow citizens' daily lives, and that it has to stop. It says almost as if he is describing the policies that he implemented, the policies of his government that, according to Klaus Schwab, have been penetrated by World Economic Forum members that currently are in more than half of Trudeau's government. And these angry, hyperbolic, sensationalistic comments are, of course, also meant by the councillor of Ottawa, who is doubling down in another interview, calling working-class, blue-collar trucker protests, quote, insurrectionists, which she accuses of trying to overthrow the government, as she previously called them terrorists. Yeah, there's nothing like a bureaucrat government politician calling protests against them treasonous, which in my opinion perfectly represents the ideas of the Great Reset. Now, not to be outdone by this extremely dangerous hyperbolic language in Canada, in the United States, the Department of Homeland Security has also issued their own terrorism bulletin over, quote, conspiracy theories and misleading narratives. Now, this is very interesting language used by the Department of Homeland Security, used by the Biden administration, which equates lack of trust in Biden as an apparent security threat. And when it comes to conspiracy theories, they're more like spoiler alerts within the last few months, since, of course, almost all of them have been coming true. Now, why is the U.S. government releasing these types of statements at this particular time? Well, I think there's many reasons for this, but there has been a ratcheting up of the national security state to the point where even Republican Congress members are having to deal with Capitol Police spies that, according to him, disguised themselves as construction workers, snuck into his private office, took photos of his files, and even interrogated one of his staff members. This is the treatment from sitting U.S. Congress members that are being treated like criminals by national security police officers of the state. This is all according to Representative Troy Nails. This is a major accusation that absolutely needs to be investigated. It will, since it highlights a very serious turning point in the United States that has already been on edge with, of course, hyper-political partisanship that has been significantly played up on big tech social media algorithms. Again, there's a problem with echo chambers. There's a problem with people only hearing their side of the story, their sides being reinforced by their own perspectives and realities, rather than, of course, having debates, having conversations, which big tech social media has by and large de-incentivized and broke down with online censorship that has destroyed the narrative in this country to an extremely dangerous point where even we have other congressmen like Adam Kissinger coming out on record saying that there's a real possibility for a civil conflict within the United States based off these hyper-partisan political lines. These lines keep growing, and in my opinion, they do threaten the fabric of society, as of course the ingredients creating this situation are only being added and not subtracted from the larger equation that, of course, we are all dealing with. All of this is also happening as some states have been implementing their decrees with police officers following them no matter what, as this video shows people being arrested at a movie theater because they didn't get government permission to be there in the state of New York. The state of New York that, by the way, is ending a lot of its indoor restrictions for private businesses. This, as just moments ago, dozens of police officers garnered and organized the arrest of a few individuals. Now, this unraveling of many policies, with even CNN declaring that the science has changed and so will the restrictions. There is a major unraveling of a very significant story that has plagued the people of the world that they soon will be asking for some retribution for. There's a lot of people unhappy with what they had to go through, unhappy with what they were forced to deal with. Who's responsible for this? Well, I have my own particular theories. I'm going to be discussing this, plus a lot more later on lukeuncensored.com. But expect some major ramifications socially, politically, and also economically from the larger upheaval that we had to go through within the last few months. Things are getting very serious, and even though one problem is clearly ending, I do believe another problem will take its place. 2022 has already been personally crazy for me. I think it's going to get crazier from here. Expect this happen to yourself. It's only the beginning of it, and holy cow, is this ride already getting really crazy. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you watching, sharing, and engaging in these videos, and that's why I'm eternally grateful for you spending your time with me. Seriously, thank you so much. I got a lot more to say. We'll be saying it in the next video. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org. I love you.